Okay, you guys, give me a few minutes. I'm going to make sure a few people can come in. See if my microphone working. Yes, it's working. Everything's working. Give me a few minutes, you guys. How you guys doing? It's EB Crypto. We got a great topic today, stolen legacy. Stolen legacy. Black history will never be the same with blockchain. In fact, I need to make sure I got that topic in there. Great. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to give a few people a chance to get in. Okay. It's stolen legacy. Black history will never be the same with blockchain. And I'm going to break that down. I know you guys are wondering, what does history and blockchain got in common? Why am I talking about historical things at a time when we're talking about blockchain? So I'm going to let you know that in a few minutes. So let me get back to the lecture at hand. Give me a few minutes. I'm still setting up everything. Let me get everybody on point. Let me get everybody on point. I got a few more minutes. I want to give it about 5 minutes to let a few more people get in. Okay, about 5 minutes to let a few more people get in. Give me a minute, give me a minute. Greetings to my people, greetings, greetings, greetings. This is EB Crypto Family Cash Machine. Follow the money. And we're gonna have a great treat for you tonight or today, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to give it to you guys raw. We're gonna step on a few toes today. Today we toe stepping. We toe stepping. We're gonna step on some toes. We're gonna talk about some things that might not be too delightful and flavorful for some people out there. It's kind of hot. I've been setting up things. Give me a few more minutes, a few more minutes. How was you guys' day? Today is Friday. I hope everybody had a great week going into the weekend. But just give me about 2-3 more minutes. We're letting a few more people get in here. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to have a little fun today. And so I'm going to share my screen in a minute. But right now, like I said, I'm just allowing a few people to get in here, to get in. Get in where you fit in. So let's give it a few more minutes. We're going to talk about the stolen legacy. It's going to be a short video. I'm not going to make it too long because I can go. I have a lot to share with you guys, and I want to make sure that you guys are understanding. You won't really see me do a lot of graphs. I did visit today a couple of schools for crypto, nothing like the Family Cash Machine. And I just want to say, I need you guys to like and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell so you can get notified when we decide to give out more information on why we chose cryptocurrency blockchain technology, why we think that the greatest investment in the world right now that you can invest in is first, the knowledge of money, understanding money, currencies, and the knowledge of technology, learning technology. I think technology is one of the biggest investments, the greatest investments in the world right now. So I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's get this thing going. Let's get this thing popping, pop-a-locking like it's supposed to be popping. Again, hit the like and subscribe button. And also, we need you to hit the notification so you can be notified whenever there is something we want to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about the stolen legacy. Black history never will be the same because of blockchain. I'm going based on something I heard the great late John McAfee say. And if you guys don't realize, John McAfee was probably murdered. And he said they was going to kill him because he was a cryptographer. Most likely he could have been a part of the cypherpunks, those that helped to create Bitcoin, along with Wei Day or Wei Dai, along with Nick Szabo, along with Andreessen, along with Hal Finney, and even the guy who now is up for charges, Julian Assange from WikiLeaks, was a part of the original group of individuals, cryptographers, that helped to create Bitcoin, and also a mysterious individual or individuals, could have been a woman, could have been a man, could have been a black man, could have been an Asian, we don't know, because he stayed anonymous, by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, to actually help to create Bitcoin. But we're finding out now Bitcoin is not just, it's not just a coin. It's really not a physical coin. So the name really doesn't serve its purpose because you're looking for a coin. It's a technology. And undergirding that technology is blockchain. Blockchain is not the most efficient, the most fastest technology, but it allows things to be decentralized. And we're gonna get to that in a minute, which is totally diametrically opposite to the centralization that is destroying this planet, whether it be centralized banking, centralized entertainment, centralized movie industry, the centralized record industry, centralized financial industry, centralized, everything's centralized, meaning that it has to go through a small group of people who pick and choose who they want to allow to be successful. And this has been a huge, huge obstacle in the world for so many different people, because you have racism, classism, you have cliquish, you have fraternities, you have all these different things that are judged or used to judge individuals as far as who can become successful and who can't. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Stolen Legacy. Stolen Legacy is a great, great, great work that I advise everybody to read. This is required reading for all Black people on the planet. And shame on you if you've never heard of George G.M. James, Dr. Professor George G.M. James. Okay, we're going to go a little bit into it. I'm going to share the book with you right now. I want you guys to I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see this great work. Let me share this with you right there. Boom, that's the book, Stolen Legacy. Now, Stolen Legacy was written by a gentleman. I'm going to show you his picture right now, George James. Why am I talking about this? What does it got to do with cryptocurrency? What does it got to do with blockchain technology? Well, George James was a Greek philosopher, and he says that Greek philosophy was stolen from Cometian or Egyptian philosophy. In fact, this guy was a Ghanese scholar, one of our Black scholars. Shame on you if you don't know George M. James, Ivan Van Sertima. These are names you need to know. Anthony T. Browder. We have our own scholars. And if you don't know who the scholars are, then you're not going to be conscious as to the information that has been unveiled, revealed, discovered, and uncovered in regards to who our people are and our great contributions around the world. Now, I'm going to get to why this is important to blockchain, why blockchain has something to do with this. I said the title was Black History Will Never Be the Same with Blockchain. And I'm going on something that the late, great John McAfee said, that owned McAfee Antivirus, who was a billionaire, married to a Black woman. Black sister looked like she was from New York or Harlem or Compton. She was just a typical Black woman. And that's who his wife was for over 20 years. And he was somewhat of a revolutionary in his mindset against government, against regulations, against centralization and oppression of the people. He was very revolutionary in his mindset, but he said that if we had blockchain 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago, history would have a quite different result. History would not be manipulated by a group of people who conquer. Whoever conquers controls history. Okay? Now, the late, great Dr. George G.M. James, that's him right there, teaching certificates in theology. He held degrees in logic. He held degrees in Latin. He held degrees in Greek. He had degrees in philosophy, mathematics, and history. He was a professor at Arkansas A&M. He was a professor at Arkansas Pine Bluff. He studied the works of westernized scholars like which is C.H. Bell, E.A. Wallace, Bulge, Swinburne, Clymer, Sir Godfrey Higgins, who wrote books like Egypt, Light of the World, wrote books like the Book of the Dead or the Book of the Coming Forth by Day. He studied these white scholars, and he determined and came up with the research supporting this book here called Stolen Legacy. The Stolen Legacy. Now we're going to unshare our screen and we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and we're going to talk about this Stolen Legacy. The Stolen Legacy, basically, it was based on 7 precepts and concepts. The book came out in 1954 and it basically created havoc amongst the white scholars all over the world because it basically was showing where the Greek philosophers all got their philosophy from ancient North Africa, which was called Egypt by the Greeks, which is really broken down, is from the word Igatos, which means burnt-faced people, but they didn't call themselves Egyptians. They called themselves in your Bible Chemicians or Chemite, okay, which is where the word chemistry come from, because they had such a sophisticated mathematics and chemistry. They're finding bodies 10,000, 5,000 years old, and the embalming chemistry was so sophisticated, they still got skin, they still got hair, and today, with our quote-unquote technology, when you bury someone, within 10 years, that body is bones. So how did they do it? This is where the word chemistry come from Chemicians, which again is the land of the dark-skinned people or burnt-faced people. I believe Kemet means God has smiled, or the sun has smiled on these people, okay? But anyway, George James, he wrote this book on 7 arguments. First argument was the Greek philosophy was stolen Egyptian philosophy. The second concept was the Greek philosophy was alien to Greeks. How do you know it was alien to Greeks? We're gonna get to that in a minute. And the reason I'm using this stolen legacy is because my people have been taught throughout school that the Greeks are the father of math. The Greeks are the father of science. The Greeks are the father of medicine. The Greeks are the father of history. And I'm going to use the late, great George M. James words, poppycock. Poppycock. That's a poppycock. And it's very, very imperative that we know this, because this is how they start the kids in school teaching about Aristotle and Socrates and Plato and all these people, okay? Now, also the number 4 concept was the Egyptians educated the Greeks, okay? The 5th concept was the doctrines of the Greeks is the doctrine of the Egyptian mystery schools or the mystery system, okay? The 6th one was the education of the high priest in Egypt was the educational center at one time of the entire world. This is documented by a Greek, the first Greek, quote unquote, historian, Herodotus. Okay, and then also, this book stirred up so much tremendous controversy in 1954 in this apartheid atmosphere of America and the world, because they did not want us to know anything about ourselves beyond slavery. They definitely didn't want us to know that we taught the entire world math, science, technology, religion. All of this came out of Africa. All of this came out of what they call now the Middle East, which is no such thing. It's really North Africa. And the only thing separates Egypt and Jerusalem is the man-made canal called the Suez Canal, and they changed the name to the Middle East to separate it from Africa. Wow. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because if this is the truth, and it's documented that this is the truth, because Herodotus, quote unquote, one of the first Greek historians, wrote in his memoirs that Socrates traveled across the 2 rivers. Look at where Greece is at. It's in those islands called Patmos of the Bible in the Mediterranean. So in order to get, you got to come across the sea, a little bit of travel just to get to Africa, or there's a piece where you can get to across the 2 rivers. He used to travel across the 2 rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris. He went to go learn amongst the Hierophites or the masters, the high priest. And he was supposed to stay in school, listen, for 40 years, college. After 4 years, he left. He went to Greece and he taught Plato. Plato was one of his students. And it's interesting that Socrates really had no writings that he wrote. He had a few little pamphlets, but he really didn't write any books. But look up the death of Socrates. This confirms that he was killed, executed by the government. And this proves what George James was saying is the doctrine that he was teaching was foreign to them because they killed him. Look it up. Go Google Socrates execution. Teaching a strange doctrine to the youth. Wow. Sedition, trying to overthrow the government. Treason. This is what they killed him for because they wasn't ready for the knowledge. They wasn't ready for the knowledge. So then after they realized they killed him and he had a tremendous amount of knowledge out of Africa, Alexander, the so-called great, and all those guys, they got Plato out of hiding because he was hiding because he was scared he was going to be killed next. And the student of Plato is Aristotle. So this is where all this came from. And then they went to Egypt and started plagiarizing, writing books from our text and putting their name on it. It's interesting that the book came out in 1954, Stolen Legacy. I advise all of my people to read this book. This is one of the books Malcolm X read when he was in prison. Stolen Legacy proves beyond a reasonable doubt that the Egyptians taught the Greeks. The Egyptians taught the Greeks. They got everything from us. Because our civilization outdated the mystery schools or the mystery system of the high priest in Kemet is the same exact principles in philosophy and theosophy, cosmology, all of that came from Egypt. And again, they killed Socrates because he revealed truths to them that they wasn't ready for. All knowledge ain't for know everybody. In 1954, our great scholar, George G.M. James, mysteriously died. The exact same year, he brought this great work out that refuted, disputed, debated, debunked all of the white scholars around the world as far as the authors of medicine, the authors of religion, the authors of science, the authors of mathematics, the authors of philosophy. All of this came out of Egypt. All of it came out of Africa. And again, it was confirmed through Herodotus, one of their first historians, that Socrates was learned and taught by the African gods. They deified us as gods. That's why Apollo, the Greek god, is black. That's why a lot of their gods are black. They're not going to tell you that. But what does this have to do with blockchain technology? What does this have to do with blockchain technology? It has a lot to do with it because when one group of people conquer another group, they change the narrative, they change history. And so with blockchain technology, this is why I'm so excited about this technology. This is why you don't see me doing graphs. You don't see me showing different graphs. And back to me visiting 2 schools today. Family Caption Cryptocurrency College has its own school. And our school teaches you not just investing and trading, because everybody comes into this with that information to trade and to make money right away. But the real money is going to be made when people understand blockchain and its purpose and its significance and how it's a paradigm shift of everything else. Now, let me lock in blockchain to this stolen legacy. There's nothing we can do about the stolen legacy because technology wasn't there in those days. But from this day on, blockchain technology can be used to record history. And this is what John McAfee was saying. If blockchain technology was here then, you would not have these stolen legacies. You wouldn't have this stolen birthright. You wouldn't have this plagiarization. Because when you put something in the blockchain, it is encrypted. Nobody can really read it unless they go into that particular that particular encryption, but you just see the encryption. but there's over 100 million, 200 million, a billion, or how many other people is on this particular blockchain. I heard there was 100 million wallets in Ethereum. So that means, I'm pretty sure some people got 2 wallets. Well, let's say 50 million people can see what you record and it can't be changed. Let me explain this to you. Blockchain technology is basically a decentralized network. There's no server. There's no center point to manipulate. There's no center point to hack. It is a decentralized network. And anybody that connects to that particular network, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, all of these different coins are really their own blockchain. And a blockchain is a network of people with no center point. And everyone in that particular network has the entire record of all the transactions. Wow. So how is that going to change history? Well, now history won't be predicated on whoever conquers. History will be predicated on who records and the consistency of that story globally, as many people will say the same thing that happened, because truth is truth. And it can't be changed because blockchain is immutable. So once you write a certain code and put it in there, it can't be changed, it can't be deleted, it can't be manipulated. This is going to change the way history is recorded forever. And who's going to benefit from that more than anyone? My people. Because my people have been manipulated through history. We haven't been taught our history because this is part of manipulating your psychological mindset. This is why so many motivational speakers, corporations now spend billions of dollars for motivational speakers to come into their corporation. Why? Because the accumulation of money, being able to accumulate money, being able to make money is directly connected to your psychological welfare. And this is why it's so important for the people who control to keep us inferior thinking, because the minute you learn who you are, the minute you start getting a little education and consciousness as to your contributions, your money goes straight up. It's a direct connection to that. That's why they got books like Think and Grow Rich. That's why they got books like Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset. These books all connect money to the way you think, to what you're generating, how that energy is in your brain. So this is why they had to suppress this information for so long. They wanted to keep us in the underclass permanently. So mindset is what I don't see in these cryptocurrency classes. They teaching trading, they're teaching NFTs, they're teaching investing, but nobody is teaching how this could change the dynamics of not just history and how history is recorded, but nobody's teaching the mindset of decentralization and redistributing wealth by restructuring the way corporations are done forever. This is the capability of blockchain technology. I'm gonna share something with you. Let's say I started my own Instagram, but I started my Instagram and I called it Bitstagram. And I started it with a decentralized app, meaning it's a network. There's no server. If I have a server, that means government got somebody to go to and say, hey, who owns this server? Oh, that's Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, he bought Facebook. Okay, Facebook bought Instagram. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, bring your behind to Congress. And we need to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. That's centralization. See, when you have blockchain technology and you set up Bitstagram, I'm just making up a name. I'm giving you guys the concept, the mindset of decentralizing. You got a network now. Nobody can control that. Anybody can post anything. Nobody can delete it. It's immutable. No government can come to me and say, hey, Eric Brent, shut that down. Do you know why? Because it's not in my name. It's a network that the world operates. Now, guess what else the benefit with that? The benefit with that is there's no Mark Zuckerberg for all the money to go to. So that means every time I text, every time I post something, the money, the value that's being paid out has no center point to go to. So guess what? The people who are building this, all the people on Bitstagram will all get paid as they're creating the value, there's no way for the value to go but back to the network of people that's creating the value. Wow, total different concept, total different philosophy, mythology, total different structure of business. It's never been done before. This is why I'm in this industry. Of course, I'm going to make money. Of course, we all want to make money, but the best way to make money is utilization. When something is being used, usability creates value. Remember, I'm a trained and licensed real estate appraiser, and I've appraised businesses as well as golf courses, as well as office buildings, as well as hamburger stands, as well as churches. So I understand value. Value comes from usability. So if people start using blockchain more for what it could do, we ain't got to worry about the value. But when you just come in, oh, it's in, it's out, it's up, it's down, and you come in with this Wall Street mindset, it's doing a disservice to this industry. And I don't want my people to come into this industry with that mindset, because if they come into this with the right mindset, they can redevelop business. They can create their own businesses, and their businesses will be shared income. And instead of one company get $1 billion, it'll be 1 million people to share $2 million. That's a whole different ballgame. And of course, you being a creator probably will make more than everybody else. But at the same time, there's still going to be a whole lot of people making money with you, and not this one guy making all the money and having the power to help change legislation. That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, they have so much money. There's 26 people in the world that control 50% of the world's wealth. Centralization has created a huge problem in the world. And some of these people are loony, toony, devil worshipers, all kind of stuff. Whatever they into, pedophiliac, whatever they into. They have the power to control and manipulate legislation. And centralization is a huge problem. Because right now, if I want to get a record deal, there's only now with Clive Davis, 7, there's only 7 major distributors in the record industry, period. And no black men own none of them. This is the problem in the world. This is centralization. But when you understand blockchain technology, you can create your music on the blockchain. It won't be free, but it'll be micro payments of a penny every time somebody listens to your music, and all that money go to you. You don't need no distribution deal. You don't need no record deal. You don't need to go kiss no butt and jump through loops and sell your soul and all that other stuff. So when this technology is used properly, it can disrupt those 7 major record companies. Wow. This is why I'm teaching, because nobody's teaching like me. Nobody's teaching because they're not from where I'm from. The people that's in this industry, most of them not where I'm from. I'm from Compton. I grew up in the hood, but I ended up going to corporate America. I've been through the hood. I've been through the banging. I've been through the street pharmaceutical stuff. I've been through all of that. I've been participated in all of that. And I also became a millionaire in real estate. So I've touched it from the top to the bottom. I got the whole dynamics of the experience of a black man in America. So I get it. And I see where this is so imperative for us to get this and understand this on a major level and start using it to recreate our own value and to manipulate our value and tokenize our value and raise our people. This is a powerful technology, but you got to learn it. You can't just come into this, learn how to trade, learn candlesticks, learn. You're going to get wrecked if you come into this industry with a trader's mindset. This is why so many people lose in this industry, because this industry is so volatile. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. You're going to lose. You're going to get wrecked. That's why you got to learn the functionalities of what this is about. If you stake some coins right now, meaning hold some coins for 3 years, I guarantee you won't lose if you got the right coin. But if you jump in this and jump out, jump in and try to jump in and jump out like you jumping rope, you're going to lose. You're going to get wrecked. You're going to get demolished. This is not designed for that. But there is so many undergirding principles in this industry that can uplift my people and give them their own control of their own value. And not just the control of their own value, but they can build their own value in anything they want. Now, some people might say, well, you made your own money in crypto. Well, not really. We're creating a token that can store value. Value is not created by banks. Value is not created by the government. Value is something that's created by usability, functionality, or demand. Something that people need and something that people use, it creates value. Now, when you can tokenize that value and you can separate that value and distribute that value to people, wow, that's powerful. And that's what this technology represents. And like I said, from this day forward, because of blockchain technology, history will have a total different future. A total different future. And it's going to be very hard to plagiarize. It's going to be very hard to steal somebody's legacy with the technology and the way it's going if we learn how to use it properly. That ain't going to happen no more. Plagiarization is over. And let's say, okay, Eric Brent put a lie out there and put it on the blockchain. Some people say, well, what's stopping people from putting something out there fake? Good question. If Eric Brent puts something on the blockchain that's fake, they got professors, they got experts in that industry. They got people who have facts and truths and evidence to disclaim what I'm saying. So let the person put a falsehood out there. Let somebody put falsehood out there. As long as you have an open source and you have an open conversation, the truth is going to manifest. Because if anybody got any inkling of common sense, you can look at all the stories, the facts and the truths and the evidence, and the person is speaking out of the side of their neck. It's not going to stand up because you'll be able to analyze that and you'll have the facts and the proofs to discern that and to analyze that. But what they're doing now is they want to stifle and they want to silence the truth tellers now. And Joe Biden, our illustrious president, just signed a bill. I talked about this yesterday. Executive order, go look it up, 14067, secretly, without Congress signing it, without nobody approving it. And he signed it under this, digital currency resolution, like he's trying to help to solve any corruption in cryptocurrency. But that's an innocuous sounding title. But in that executive order, now they have the right, government, to freeze your account. To not just freeze it, to take your money out the bank. That's in that executive order. Go look it up. 14067. If you read all the way through it, they now have the right to confiscate your money in the bank. Everybody's. And they're doing that for a reason, because they want to kick in this whole digital currency that they're coming with, which is not blockchain, which is not decentralized. So it really doesn't pose a threat if you understand how to maneuver. But if you solely sit back and wait for that thing to kick in, you're going to be in bad shape. Because at that point, they can control everything you're doing. And they can stop you from transacting. They can hit one button and cancel you out of the ability to even move money, to buy anything. And if that ain't the mark of the beast, I don't know what is. So you have to learn this technology, not just how to trade. But come to the Family Cash Machine, sign up for our master course. We got a 50% off right now because I really want my people to get this. Because once we start learning this, we can develop our own economics outside of this centralized system. Because when you got to go through only 7 companies to get a record deal, you're going to jump through a lot of loops. You might have to sell your soul. You might have to do some compromising things with your body you don't even want to do because it's centralized. It's a small group of people that control. Or they might not even like you, your political views, your religious views, and they might not even let you in. But when you put that on the blockchain, you can decentralize your music. You control distribution, you control revenue, you control the artists, the royalties, all of that is you control. That's That's a game breaker for them. So it's so many different things that this industry can do. There's so many different things this technology can do that's in my people's benefit that can add so much value to us. It's not even funny. So with that, I'm not going to go too far. I did enough on this video. Again, we all need to get Stolen Legacy by one of our great scholars, Dr. George G.M. James. Stolen Legacy. I took that book when I was in a Greek philosophy class in college, and I disputed everything that the professor had to come with that book. I sure did. It's called Stolen Legacy. It's one of the books Malcolm X read when he was in prison. It came out in 1954. It shook up the world. All the scholars of westernized thought was shook up, was disappointed, was angry, and they went after Dr. George with a vengeance. And coincidentally, he died mysteriously the same year that book came out. Wow. So again, get that book. I want you guys to sign up for the Family Cash Machine. Learn not just crypto with us, but learn the mindset of how you can redevelop business, redistribute wealth, to create your own wealth with nobody controlling you. This has been a problem for our people, is there's always somebody holding you down because they don't want to see you elevate because they know what you're capable of. They understand your potentials better than you do because secretly they study you. Secretly, they got the information on what you've done and what you've contributed and how they were your students. Wow. And they ran with it. And then they push you to the dirt and kick you under the rug. And you can't look in the mirror and see who you are. So there's no reflection when you look in the mirror because they stole your legacy. All of this has a part in you making money. You don't think that's going to negatively affect you making money? You got to have first you got to have a mindset to where you are invincible to make real money. Jay-Z understand that. Jay-Z used to be a 5%er. He studies. He understood it. Nah, same thing. Used to be a 5%er. Tupac, you know his story. His mother made him read. Growing up, he was a young junior Black Panther. Biggie was a top student. I'm understanding that Lil Wayne was an A student. These guys get it. That's why they successful. Nipsey Hussle. His last videos, look at his video. He was in Tulum. He was at the Mayan pyramids. His father is Ethiopian. He started going back and forth to Africa. He grew up in the hood, but then he grew spiritually and understood as a Black man who he was and was able to connect the dots. Now he's a threat. Now he's an idol. Now he's a model. He's a role model. He's teaching people through what he's doing. How to buy property, how to own your neighborhood. He also had a STEM program because as he went to Google and Yahoo and he realized that there wasn't enough Blacks there because we don't study engineering and mathematics and science. So he opened up a STEM program, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. He was doing some great things. He was also into cryptocurrency. There's videos of him talking about cryptocurrency. He get it. So in order to be super successful, you have to first start getting the knowledge of who you are. It's no way around it. Or you're just going to be another statistics. So in order for us to really become successful, in order for us to really become powerful as a people, we have to first control our economics, control our value, and find a way to distribute our value amongst our people and boom, and open it up to a point where no one can suppress us and hold us down. That's been our problem, is we got to go and get permission from somebody else to do this or somebody else to do that. That's been the problem. Okay, now they want to regulate crypto. I'm gonna tell you why it don't need to be regulated. If I create a company and everybody getting paid autonomously, nobody can get cheated because again, the code is immutable. You can't change the code, you can't stop the code, you can't control it. Once you let that code out and it's functioning, say, okay, pay this person every week, pay this person this percentage, pay that person this percentage, and that's happening autonomously. Why does that need to be regulated? If you're getting your money every week on time, why you need to be regulated? You only regulations is set up supposedly to keep people from scamming or pyramid schemes and stuff like that. But if you have a technology that's autonomously paying everybody their dividends on time, that don't need to be regulated. And they don't like the fact that you can do that with this technology without going through them. See, that's the problem. But I don't want to go through them because going through them hasn't gotten us too far. There's some successful people, yes, but they got to jump through loops. They got to be controlled, and they got to take an oath not to help their people. That's what goes on the higher levels. That's why you don't see most of your top successful Black entrepreneurs really helping our people, because they take an oath not to do that. They're disrupting the quote unquote system. But when you start creating business models that distributes equally, do you know how much money Facebook made? That guy now is one of the richest men in the world. I just told you guys there's 26 people in the world that control 50% of the world's wealth. That's too few people controlling too much money. So Facebook made a lot of money because that money should have been distributed amongst more people. That would have been fair. And because these people created the value. He didn't create that value. He built a platform, and that value was created by you sharing your pictures, you commenting, you sharing your videos, you sharing what kind of book you like, what kind of music you like, you meeting your friends, connecting with your friends. You created that value, and you didn't get nothing for it. How about creating another Facebook where all the value created gets reshared with all those that created the value? That sounds fair to me. That's what blockchain does. And if anybody knows anything, our people, Black people, have created more value to all of this stuff in America, whether it's social media, whether it's soap operas, whether it's the music industry. We've contributed the most value, and we get nothing in return. But with this technology, it's a shared value, and it's a shared participation in building the value, which Instagram was, Facebook. All of these values are built by the people, but the people don't get nothing but likes. Maybe the company might give you a little money when you get millions of followers. But how about as you're building it, money coming to you? It's coming to everybody on that platform. And the more you share, the more likes you get, the more followers you get, the more dividends you get from building that system. That's fair to me. And that's what blockchain technology can do. This is what it can do. This is why I'm saying you don't see me doing no graphs. You don't see me talking about trading. And I came from a trading background. I traded Deutschmarks, Swiss francs, Japanese yens, coffee. I know how to trade. I know how to count. I know how to look at candlesticks, but I'm not teaching that because I don't want people to come into this industry just thinking that's all this is about. This has a huge disrupting characteristic. It can disrupt so many things and redistribute wealth to our people. That's what I want to teach. The mindset of all the different functionalities of blockchain technology and the concept and mindset and philosophy of decentralization. It's hard to get that. It took me years to grow into the decentralized mindset because there's been hundreds of years and centuries that they trained you to think centralized. And that's why all these schools are centralized. They even teaching this technology in a centralized manner. They're not bringing you out of that mindset. That's what's different about our classes. We're bringing you into a position where you can start developing things. Now, you're not going to be a developer. I'm not saying you're going to be coding. You can hire coders, but you'll be able to come up with the concepts and the ideas. There's so many things in this world can be decentralized. And this represents huge opportunities. You don't have to be a developer. I hired developers to build my first cryptocurrency. I hired them, but I had the concept. Okay. And I'm working on another cryptocurrency now that I think is just going to be phenomenal. Nobody's doing it. I'm not going to say what it is on this call, but we're coming up with a coin right now. Nobody's doing, and it's a need for it. It's a demand for it. And the value will be spread out and distributed amongst everybody to participate. Wow. That's what we're talking about. So I want you guys to take these courses, start learning. This knowledge is going to benefit you. This knowledge you're going to be able to use immediately to develop in this industry or to be able to invest in this industry in a way where you're not just looking at numbers, but you're actually looking at functionality and what the demand and what the function of this particular coin or company is doing. When you got that kind of information, you'll be batting 1,000 because you can see the use case. And remember what I said, value is created by usability. When something is used a lot, it creates value. So with that, we're gonna sign out again. Go sign up for the Family Cash Machine Facebook page. Half off right now, 50%, just gonna be a short time. for that, and then we're going back up because again, nobody teaches like we teach. You guys have a great evening. Like and subscribe to the channel. You guys, ZB Crypto, Family Cash Machine, follow the money.